Stuff life, stuff like this, stuff like that. You guys are obsessed with stuff life on social media. But we all say we want stuff life and peace. But how peaceful is it when one emergency room visit could literally wipe your savings? You can't manifest a stuff life without protecting the body, your body that's lived in it. In my 20s, stuff life was about catching flights, eating in fancy restaurants, buying designer wear. But not to say those things aren't important now, and I don't do those things now. It's just the things I prioritize now are completely different. Things like making sure I have medical insurance, making sure I have annual health assessments, making sure that I'm regularly going to the dentist to get checkups, things like that. And I believe as millennials, because we dress young and we look young, looks are deceiving. So we automatically think that our bodies are not aging. And with aging bodies comes loads of health problems. So I'm going to share like what I'm doing now in my 30s to ensure that my health is optimized, and I hope you do the same. So before I get into the video, I just want to give a warm welcome to my new subscribers and howdy to my old subscribers. I'm Tommy and I make lifestyle content about any and everything. So be it fashion, lifestyle, mindset, travel, everything. So if you're into general content, then my channel is for you. So stick around, let's get into the video. Okay, let's talk about the fantasy of soft life, because you used to think as long as I look good and I feel rested, then I'm winning. Now, you know, looking good doesn't matter if your body is screaming for attention. These sorts of things that happen to the body, like random pains here and there, they just spring out of nowhere. You could be all good today, like on holiday, like turning up, and all of a sudden you wake up with a headache. There's certain things that maybe when we were younger we wouldn't have prioritized, such as sleep, like movement, and like managing stress. And these things are all very important and they contribute to your overall livelihood. One thing I realized when I had my annual health assessment checks were the three questions that I was getting asked consistently were about my sleep and how I manage stress, and my fitness levels, and whether I drank water. It was like the common thing that I was seeing constantly amongst all the doctors that examined me. And it's also a thing that I watched a documentary on Netflix, and I'll leave, on Brian Johnson, who's trying to live longer, and he's a tech millionaire that suffered from depression, and he's quite controversial, but I got some good takes from just what he said. And he was talking about how diets and sleep are so important to rejuvenate the body. So making sure that you actually understand your body and know what your body needs. Like, a lot of us have inherited a lot of things genetically, and we don't know what that is because we've never had a checkup. I use the Bupa annual health assessment, and that is provided by my workplace. And I make sure that I go to those every year to check my cholesterol levels, to check my blood pressure, and whether there are any places that I need to give attention, like my body attention to, just like doing regular checks. Learning how to like just check scan my breast for cancer. You'd be very surprised. The British Journal of Cancer conducted a recent study that showed that most women in the UK at some point in their lives will be diagnosed with cancer, and that used to be, the previous estimates were 1 in 3 people, but now that's even risen to 1 in 2, which is quite shocking. And it's scary because I'm seeing more and more of my friends like being diagnosed with the weirdest illnesses, like the amount of people I've lost to cancer, the amount of people in their 30s that I know that have cancer. And I watched a recent video from Steve Bartlett on this, and I'll just leave it here, on just little things that you can do to just improve your health, so that you are not at risk of developing any form of like cancerous or any form of cancer. And if you cannot afford medical insurance, again, this is provided to me by my workplace. You can also use the NHS, and there are other means of finding health insurance, if you get what I mean. Like, if you're on holiday, in places that are affordable, like Albania and Turkey, then you can do a health assessment. I believe the Bupa one is about £300, but don't quote me on that one. I'll leave links below on where you can do an annual health assessment. Otherwise, you can see what the NHS offers and see what sort of full 360 checks that you can do or they can perform on your health. In terms of getting regular checkups on your teeth, I didn't even think how important I didn't think my teeth was that important. Actually, it was just something I never thought about. And God, I got the shock of my life during COVID because my teeth has never caused me any trouble, so I rarely got it checked. But then I had a broken tooth, or one of my teeth broke during COVID, and I went to the doctors, and guys, when I tell you, I was given a bill of $3,000. I had to have included like 2 wisdom tooth extractions, a root canal, a crown on the left side of my tooth. And trust me, when I tell you, I was like, what do you mean? And this is when I decided to do a full 360, and I was like, this is not happening anymore. I need to get checked regularly, make sure that I'm using the right tools. Flossing, I already flossing regularly, brushing at least 2 to 3 times a day, and making sure that even just from my mouth is healthy do you know what I mean? But asides that, also getting my eyes checked. Most of us in our workplaces get eye care vouchers. Again, this is one that when I checked, I was quite surprised to see that, oh my God, come into my reality, or that I'm just remotely unaware of. And so those are the things that I've started to look at. And in terms of just movement and health and fitness, I work out at least 4 times a day. I combine both cardio as well as strength training. I love strength training. However, I was also advised at the doctors and by a nutritionist that I needed to balance my strength training with my cardio, because what strength training does is it releases the stress hormone, so it adds to your stress. And if you're already in a stressful job, you don't want to be increasing your stress, so making your body work more to manage your stress levels, because that can create a lot of hormonal imbalances in your body. And so you need to balance that out with cardiovascular exercises so that you can reduce the stress levels and reduce the cortisol. It's like learning all of those little things that you wouldn't have been aware of and how that manifests into your medical records. But there's also things like your cholesterol levels in your blood, and how understanding your genetic makeup as well, and how because of your genes you're more prone to certain things, and so you might be at risk of a lot of things. And it's all about education, guys. And actually stress is a major factor. And I checked my heart rate, checked all of those things, and how quickly my body is able to bounce back from stressful situations. And so about being exposed to information and being more aware of things that could be detrimental in the long term. And one thing I wanted to touch on as a Black woman in the diaspora is my health is so important, because learned that a lot of Black women suffer from a lot of hormonal imbalances as they age. And because we're in an environment where we're not exposed to certain things and certain vitamins that would help us optimize our health, we have to check those things regularly. A lot of Black women are prone to things like PCOS, endometriosis, fibroids, vitamin D deficiencies that can impact our moods. Those are all low iron levels. Those are things that contribute to your overall vitality. And if you're not checking, then you run the risk of really being productive, being able to be alive and living your life fruitfully. So for me, Soft Life is making sure that my health is working in the best way possible so that I can achieve a well-rounded life. So what are your ideas of Soft Life? I hope I've been able to just shed light on a few areas, particularly on health, where I feel, not many people talk about, and it's probably one of the most important things that we should be discussing before anything else. So that's what living soft is for me, is to have a good mood and to just be alive and well and able. So I'll catch you guys in my next video, and yeah, take care. Have a lovely weekend.